Okay, we are back live at the Trustmark Studios, which happen to be the Comm-university, East Mississippi, and what a facility here. So we got all our guys here. Ryan Miller's here. Ryan is the executive director, as if you well know, Office of Workforce Development. Ryan, good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm good. How are y'all?
This is a heck of a place, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
This is not your first time here.
This is my second time here, but it won't be my last time here either.
And again, Mike is here, Barkett, with the President of Mississippi Construction Education Foundation. We were talking about something. I wanted to finish that conversation, and both of us are old, so we forgot what the conversation happened to be.
I really did.
But I did when we were talking about the apprentice. And there are a lot of industries out there that do that. Is there any place that has a collection of that for parents to look at if their kids like in the 8th or 9th grade, but when they get up to the 10th or 11th and certainly 11th and 12th grade?
That was what we were discussing is the understanding of what apprenticeship is and how it works. And unfortunately, there's not that gathering place. But Department of Labor has certain guidelines and rules that we have to follow.
Yeah.
And apprenticeship follows different pathways in whatever it could be. And manufacturing's got one.
And you've got to make sure you're taking care of the education itself and all of that. I understand that. But it seems like if there was some place that a parent could go and say, all right, here are the jobs that you could get a job in something you like in the 11th or 12th grade, and it could lead to what you're doing at the community college.
Ryan, am
I off base on this?
No. I mean, look, at the end of the day, what does that apprenticeship really do? It's giving students a chance to learn. It's getting a taste of what that career might be like. They're also getting just the tutelage that comes with working with people that have been in the industry and in that sector for years. Whether that's community colleges have some great partnerships with industry groups like the MCEF. They're certainly trying to advocate and get kids excited about careers where they can learn on the job, learn by doing. And I think that's the only way that we're going to make a change in this state is if we get kids to use their hands in those educational endeavors.
We had talked with the folks at Mississippi Power Company and also at Entergy, but they had these high-powered gizmo out there where they're going to be frying some wieners. But the fact that if you get trained with that as far as all the safety features and everything, you've got a heck of a career.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're talking about 6 figures.
Yeah.
Easy.
So let's talk about workforce development. What's the latest?
Well, the latest is I'm here at one of the most amazing examples of what I think workforce development needs to be. This is an example of where industry has said, we want to roll up our sleeves and get involved with our schools and with our community. The Forge group here in Columbus, for all those that are listening out there, this is a great example. And there are other communities that do similar things, maybe not on this scale, but this is an opportunity where industry has said, we want to be a part of the solution. We want to be at the table.
Yeah.
MCEF is a great partner in this as well. How can we expose students to the opportunities that are right here in their community? This is what workforce development is all about.
You could take this Forge and use the template everywhere in the state.
Yeah, I think the Accelerate Mississippi's perspective is, can we learn the best practices around the state of Mississippi and replicate those in other areas? Absolutely. The answer is absolutely.
Isn't it amazing, and we were talking about this, that the 8th graders at that age are the ones that they're bringing in.
Yeah.
Because they understand the impressionable part of that is where they're setting some of their patterns from later in life.
Sure. But when I was in 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade, I remember seeing commercials on television that were geared toward me about joining the United States Marine Corps. The military figured out a long time ago that you have to reach young people and that sense of service and duty and calling. Well, we need to do the same thing with these types of career paths, and we need to do it earlier.
Well, I think that's the important thing, is to show young people that there are a lot of career paths and choices they have to make. But if you don't expose them to it and give them an opportunity to either like or dislike it, they never know. And I think that's what these expos do. It gives them, back in the back, it's not just walking through looking at show and tell. It's hands-on.
It's interactive.
In our area, they're going to be driving nails, so they're going to find out real quick if they want to swing a hammer or not. Or they'll be able to use a vertex welder and see if they like to weld. So it gives them an opportunity.
Ironically, Katie had one of the expos here. One of the displays is to teach kids how to use a nail gun.
Yeah.
And I would think that's one of those safety things you really need to know.
Look, my grandpa would
Some
always.
of the 8th graders are coming through now.
My grandpa used to say, you need to learn how to swing a hammer before you use a nail gun, so you can really appreciate what a nail gun means.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we've got a lot of youngsters coming through now, don't we? This is great.
By 2023, our state's going to need more than 80,000 craft professionals to meet the needs of the state's growing construction industry. 80,000, and some people think that's very conservative.
Oh, I agree.
Let me ask you guys this, because as if we didn't need other obstacles with COVID and with this administration and the way things are going, what's this mandate going to mean as far as the president's mandate on vaccination?
That's a great question. I wish I knew how to answer it. I mean, what's hard and frustrating in many ways is that it seems like one day you've got one answer, and the next day they go 180 degrees in the opposite direction. So I can't even answer that.
Nobody's ever answered or want to talk about, and I saw on, I think it was Fox News earlier this morning at the hotel, that they were talking to a truck driver who's decided to give it up because he's got to get a shot. He's already had it. He's read the information that his immunity is probably as good or better than with the shot itself. So, I mean, that's his personal decision. But, I mean, he's given up something that he's spent 20 or 30 years.
It's a career that he's been building, yeah.
And God knows we need truck drivers.
Well, we need a lot of them.
So, I mean, Mike, how do you think this is going to affect us?
I don't know how the answer either. I think it's going to be terrible. I think that, mandates like that are just going to be difficult for a lot of people to swallow. Now, and I agree with you, Ryan. The answer changes day to day. If we could get an answer and look down the road a week from now and it's the same answer,
maybe some consistency
maybe we could help.
You know why the answer changes on a day-to-day? Because the situation changes on a day-to-day.
It does.
Because when I was talking about mandates, and I thought about this, and I don't want to be a hypocrite, but when I was talking about mandates early on, I was against government mandates, still am. Private sector mandates as far as the industry is a different conversation prior to a vaccine and prior to learning a lot about that. It's different now to when we have a vaccine, when you're closer to herd immunity, when you understand more about it, than it was then. So the situation changes.
Sure.
And there are some industries right now where I think a mandate, private industries, where the mandates, a nursing home is a perfect example. Trucking industry, when you take everything in consideration, the people who have the shots, the immunity. So the situation changes, but we're not changing with it.
No, not at all.
That just made it more complicated.
It did. Especially, it kind of exacerbates these industry sectors where we need people. We need more people. It's just hampering that effort.
That is Ryan Miller. Ryan, since the day that you were yanked away from the University of Mississippi to this date, have you changed directions on some things, and you found out some things are more important than others?
Oh, look, every day I learn something. I mean, I met with Mike last week, got their facility there in Pearl, in the Pearl area, in the Jackson metro area. It's a fantastic facility, and unbelievable what they do. And I'm ashamed to say that I wasn't more privy to some of the resources that they offer there. But every day we learn something new, and we want to adapt our philosophy and our strategy. I will say, since the last time we met, we've added a few key personnel to the team. For the first 4 or 5 months, it was me. I was the office, and I'm so sorry to those people that had to deal with me in those first 4 or 5 months. But since that time, we've added a couple key individuals. Starting this coming Monday, we'll be joined by Dr. Courtney Taylor, who's actually the current vice president in charge of this facility right here. Dr. Alsabrooks, the president of East Mississippi, doesn't like me very much right now because she's got great energy and great innovation. She's going to come and help us lead the charge. And then also Dr. Nathan Oakley from the Department of Education is coming to Accelerate Mississippi as well. Really excited about those two folks joining the team.
There are some other events that are coming up, and can you guys stick with us a few minutes?
Sure.
We'll talk about that. I want to
Absolutely.
talk about some of the events that are going to be happening in the state, because I know that you've got several throughout the year.
We do. Coming up real quick in March.
But that'll be here before you know it.
I know it's already here. We're planning it now.
How many, you saw this figure here of 80,000, but when you start talking about just the construction industry in the state, whether it's from the coast or up in the Delta, I mean, everybody is suffering right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you the number of phone calls we get daily. Do you have anybody, or we're looking for 5 or 10. when you add those up, the number is staggering. It is.
I'm not sure exactly, and this is one of those things nobody wants to broach as far as some of the industry, but like in the roofing, when you have even Hispanic Americans who are legal citizens,
Sure.
and in the roofing industry, we know that those are hardworking people and they are legally here. But, I mean, there's a whole different set of challenges